The doctor has had a lot of car thefts happen to him, and he's really angry. He's decided to take his revenge on the next person who tries to steal his car. We will recap the story of the movie 4. By 4 o'clock saw a car that didn't have an alarm while walking down a quiet street. This is why the car is an easy target in that neighborhood. Crime has become such a serious problem there, and residents have had to take additional measures to protect themselves. The place has a lot of security cameras scattered around it, but that wasn't enough to scare Zero. After breaking into the vehicle, the offender removed the stereo and stored the item in a backpack. He then finds sunglasses and decides to keep them. Before leaving, Cyril left a gift for the millionaire who owns the car. After wetting the rear seats in the worst possible way, man hides to avoid being spotted by passersby. He tried to open the car door when the street was empty again, and that's where his problem started. With all his might, Zero was unable to open any of the vehicles for doors, then tried to open the trunk again to no avail. Shiro kicked the window to no avail. He rummaged through the trunk. He finds a tire lever and broke the glass with that tool, but nothing hopeless happened. Shiro ripped off the panel of one of the doors and stuck his arm in to unlock the car, but all the thief managed to do was scratch his arm deeply. He then tries to destroy the carpet to find a way out, but soon finds there is no escape. As a last-ditch attempt, he decided to grab the gun in his backpack and shoot through the windshield. What he doesn't know is that the bullet will come back and hit him in the leg. Zero was stunned by the gunshot. The wound left him speechless. He realized what had just happened. After a few seconds, the criminal took off his shirt and used it to stop the bleeding. Despite the attack, the glass remains intact. A woman passes by a car. Zero tries to get her attention. He looks and bangs on the window as she puts on her lipstick before walking away. Evidently, it is impossible for an outsider to hear or see what is going inside that car. Zero begins to scream desperately and honks the horn, but nothing seems to help. At this point, the criminal is unaware of the identity of the person who imprisoned him in that case. All he knows is that he is in grave danger because the assailant did a thorough job of preventing the invader from finding a way to escape. The man grabs his phone in fear and calls his wife. Before he can finish the call, the battery runs out. After drinking the remainder of the soda that was saved in a bottle, he loses the will to fight, since the man decides to wait till help arrives. While sitting in the rear seat of the car with his own dirt, the only other person he has company with in that car is a cricket. After 24 hours, nobody had found him. Zero wakes up, dehydrated, and attempts to hydrate himself by licking a few drips of water that were running from the window. When he attempts to smash the car's door, he returns the stereo and turns on some music to cheer himself up. At that very moment, the burglar receives a suspicious call through the suspicious device. He chooses to respond, and Zero is greeted by Dr. Enrique, his jailer. As a result, the man reveals that he was born in Killam 60 years ago, and that he is a widower. This is the 29th time that his belongings have been taken in total. He had been robbed before, but this time he made a different choice. When someone gets inside the car, the doctor put an alarm connected to his cell phone. He successfully locks the doors with his phone. By doing this, it becomes difficult for the individual to access the car from the inside. Instead, Zero must use Enrique's key to unlock the door. The vehicle is entirely soundproof and armored. According to the doctor, the glass are also polarized, making it impossible for anyone outside to see the culprit. Enrique claims that he grew up in a middle-class family, and that no negative things ever occurred when doors of homes were left open. The guy finally inquires of Zero what he would do if he discovered his son stealing. The doctor hangs up after the criminal says he don't know. Enraged, Zero threatens to kill Enrique as soon as he is released. Remotely turning on the air conditioning at that precise moment gives the thief the chance to cool off, but the environment quickly begins to freeze. when the driver tries to switch off the device, but the vehicle does not obey his commands. He dons his shirt once more, trying to get his body to warm up. After stopping the wound with a piece of his pants, Zero covers the air vents with pieces of paper and a vehicle mat hours later when he is nearly frozen. The temperature of the car starts to soften once more, and the burglar gets another call. Enrique asks the same question. Upon answering the call, he inquires as to what Zero would do if he discovered his son stealing, and the guy once more responds that he is unsure. Next in, Ricky describes how his daughter's home was broken into while the woman was parking her car in the garage. 2 robbers then showed up and stole all the money and possessions, leaving them unsatisfied. Hayes spent 3 hours pointing a handgun at the head of Enrique's 5-year-old grandson. The doctor's daughter chose to transfer her family to Barcelona in search of greater protection. When Enrique narrates this story, the phone is cut off and a police car approaches. Upon seeing the cops approaching the car, Zero's heart begins to flutter with hope. The man shouts and bangs on the windows as a cop exits the automobile and inspects the vehicle, yet the guard just issues a parking penalty because he cannot see anyone inside. Zero notices the rain falling outside that afternoon as he suffers from thirst. Enrique phones him again and inquires about his name, surname, and ID number. The man would receive water in exchange for this information. Saving his life, the doctor instructs the criminal to check the wash hose in the back of the car. After he agrees to comply with his jailer's orders, Zero grabs the bottle and drinks some contaminated water. His current main issue is hunger. The man is in grave risk of starving to death if this keeps happening. The following morning, the man is still determined to his goal of destroying the door, but he is weak and hurt and realizes that he won't be able to escape on his own. He admits to Enrique that he had a fever as a result of accidentally shooting his leg with a rifle. The doctor asks about the state of the wound and turns on the heater while talking about his day. Enrique claims that, when he went to collect his checkup results that morning, he learned that his cancer had spread throughout his body. If everything goes according to plan, the doctor will have a little over a year to live. Zero faints when the man describes the 28 robberies he endured, passes out, and when he wakes up, he is convinced he doesn't have long to live. The robber decides to devour a sheet of paper he took from a book since his hunger is so intense. In order to avoid dying of dehydration, the criminal starts to personalize the interior of the car, giving a sign that he was there to anyone who ultimately finds the vehicle. His biggest concern was that his body would be thrown somewhere, and his family would never know what happened to him. Zero starts gathering the liquid for his own body and then redrinks it. The man could never have dreamed that he would live in such abject conditions, not even in his wildest nightmares. Later that day, a second man shows up and tries to break into the 4x4 car. However, 2 men approach and begin beating him up. Before he completes the deed, the criminal, who hasn't even finished the robbery, is beaten up by neighboring bystanders. He is taken to the police station. As soon as the police show up, he considers eating the insect that has been keeping him company for the past 2 days since he is so hungry at night. After all, the insect is in as precarious a situation as he is. He decides to let him live. He is awakened many hours later by a new call from Enrique. He tells him he has a candy stashed in the rear of the brake and that he is in a good mood. He runs to the candy right away and eats it quickly. Before the doctor hangs up the phone, the thief begs for more water and a cigarette. With nothing to do, he watches the neighboring residents' routines and finds a particular pattern that occurs every day. If he were free, knowing that during the observations, Zero would be able to clean up everyone who resides on that street. A burglar discovers that the local beggar, who had been munching onto rotting apples the day before, had recently discovered a slice of pizza in the trash. Because he was starving, Zero is envious of that fortunate man. Later, the burglar keeps working on his strategy to open the automobile door and succeeds in his mission. Zero yells with all of his strength, but to no avail because the hole he manages to make with the tool he found in the trunk is too small. It's practically hard for anyone to hear him. Enrique shows up with information regarding Irina and Lionel, wife and son of Zero. As the man hears this, he begins to worry that his family is in danger, but to his surprise, Enrique breaks some positive news. The doctor asserts that he gave Irina $150,000 in cash on the pretense that her husband had won the lottery. He even went so far as to recommend that the mother purchase a home in order to avoid paying rent and utilize the remaining funds to fund her son's education. Enrique asserts that Zero is unworthy of his family. The man claims he obtained the criminal's file through a police friend and learned that he had already murdered a victim. Zero tries to excuse himself by saying that he was only acting in self-defense. During a robbery, the proprietor of the tire shop brandished a knife to stab him, and Zero shot him finally. He asserts that years of his life spent in prison have served as payment for his error. Enrique says that Zero was the chosen one and is now sentenced to a new punishment. The man is unable to sleep that night since he knows he will be a prisoner for a very long period. He then makes the decision to assist his cricket friend in obtaining his freedom and wishes him luck afterwards. Zero starts the car by accident while touching the ignition button. He fastens his seatbelt, reverses, and intentionally causes an accident. The robber successfully breaks the window glass, in this manner allowing him to escape. He laboriously makes his way through the town until he finds the closest convenience shop. He hastily takes a bottle of water out of the freezer. He then grabs two hamburgers and starts eating. The security guard now approaches the offender and tells him to leave afterward. He pulls a gun and shoots the man once in the chest. The thief wakes up at that point and finds it was all a dream. Drained from pain and hopeless about getting out of that cage, he prepares to kill himself as he points the gun at his chin. He is, however, cut off by a call. He begs Enrique to let him see his son once more, but the doctor refuses. The thief then makes a suicide threat, but both his weapon and his plotter fails. The headlights of the automobile turn on. A few seconds after, Enrique commands him to look forward, revealing the kidnapper's real face. To minimize the odor inside, the doctor enters into the automobile and sprays flavoring inside. To help Zero unwind, Enrique grabs the gun, smokes a cigarette, and places it in his mouth. The man cries in anguish as the doctor extracts the bullet from his leg. As the man answers a patient's call, Zero takes the gun and shoots the doctor before escaping. The insane man didn't sustain any serious injuries, though as a result, Enrique is still alive and pursues the culprit. But before he was apprehended once more, a policewoman who was doing the local patrol appears, and Enrique is caught. He tries to justify the act by saying that he is punishing the car burglar while still maintaining that he is aiding the police in performing their duty. But the police demands that the doctor release the man and points a revolver at him. The situation is still the same 2 hours later. Enrique tells Zero he only wants one thing, the administration of justice, and refuses to let him go. The man takes advantage of the presence of journalists and onlookers on duty to take advantage of the situation. He states that it is up to the audience to determine whether the doctor should execute the criminal or release him after asking them what they think should be done with him. When the police notice that people are in favor of the doctor, they decide to contact Amadio to get involved in the situation. Enrique is standing next to his car, aiming a revolver at the man's neck. Zero has given up fighting by this point. The man is unconscious and watches as the person who set him up for that trap decides what will happen to him. The doctor finds it inconceivable that a burglar can break into his home, steal his automobile, and escape punishment after being detected. The retired negotiator tells the doctor that he is there to help him when he gets to the spot then. According to Enrique, enforcing the law is the greatest approach to assist him and the rest of the populace. He then claims to have sympathy for and understanding of Enrique's rage. There are several more people there, and they are all irate as well. The doctor could have killed the man, but that wouldn't change anything, because there are thousands of such crooks in the world out there. Taking that young man's life will only make Enrique throw his life and career in the trash. The doctor remains steadfast despite hearing this. He asserts that even if his actions don't change the world, at least he is making an effort, because otherwise, leaving the country would be the only option, like his daughter did then. According to Amadio, Enrique has already fulfilled his obligation because it appears Ciro has taken the lesson to heart. He begs the man to let the criminal go, but the doctor instead turns back to the nearby onlookers. Who has been robbed there? He inquires despite the fact that their homes currently have sophisticated security systems and bars on the windows. The majority of people raise their hands to get Enrique's attention. After disposing of all the weapons and with the doctor's okay, the police negotiator offers him some water. A policewoman approaches him and hands him a bottle, and she leaves. Enrique leans down and gives the policewoman's hand a kiss on the back. The man takes a sip before passing the bottle to Ciro, who is at that point severely dehydrated. Amadio comes up and requests once more that Enrique free the man. He says that his wife has passed away and they have not had any children. Therefore, Amadio lives alone as he has no relatives and few friends currently. He can only get by on his meager retiree salary. The negotiator says all of this to demonstrate that he has nothing to lose, and says that when everything is said and done, he wants to invite Enrique over to his place for a beer. At that time, the doctor thinks of his daughter and understands that she does not deserve to be remembered as the daughter of the doctor who took the life of a robber. The man decides to release Ciro and then gets into his car because this was not the memory he wanted to leave behind before he departed. The culprit is then taken into custody by the police and handcuffs. The folks in the area find it hard to comprehend that the doctor let go of that man after holding him for 5 hours. While the cops attempt to apprehend Enrique, Ciro is placed inside the vehicle. Then Amadio only sees the doctor's arm placing a countdown clock on the roof of the car. He swiftly discerns that it is a bomb and requests that the officers back away. Enrique is burned alive once the car explodes. Everyone is baffled by how that unusual case turned out, but Ciro exhales a sigh of relief, knowing that he survived the most terrifying heist of his life. So how would you rate this film? If you have any comments, please post them below. If you like the video, be sure to like it and subscribe for future movie recaps.